What's cracking, people? It's your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, representing high level technicians operating globally and beyond. So, listen, the language of beta. Basically, what I'm offering today is a public service that I'd like to provide in an effort to identify, expose, and hopefully burn away any beta traits and tendencies that potentially select men may have picked up out in this crazy matrix of the modern Western world that we're living in. You're welcome, gentlemen. So the other day, I was at the gym, of course, and most guys know that during the week, between the hours of about 7 a.m. And 5 p.m., the gym is packed, especially in urban spaces. The gym is packed with people working out before and after work. It's definitely prime time at gyms that are at like major universities, gyms that are, like I said, in major cities and metropolitan areas. And you know, I'll do a separate podcast on that one because that's its own environment that deserves its own attention. But there's a certain protocol that true fitness heads and gym rats abide by. All I have to do is set up this scenario and the alphas will be able to finish the statement. Now, listen closely. Whenever there are more people in a gym than there is gym equipment, what's the unwritten protocol for someone who wants to use occupied equipment? Two statements. You want to work in from the people who are already working on the equipment, or can I work in, which is the person who is looking to work in to use the equipment that's already in use with the other people. Now, I won't go into the benefits of resting between sets and how beneficial it is to do buddy sets and how incorporating more individuals within certain workout or exercise programs enhances the benefits of working out. No, I won't go into that today, but I just wanted to put out that scenario because I know that maybe 15 to 20% of people listening to this had to think about what I said. The other 80% actually lift. This is a case study in the language of beta. So picture this. It's Monday, or as most people know, International Chest Day, and the gym floor is filled like a watering hole on a savanna. It's covered with lifters putting in work, IG models taking up space, filming with Snapchat filters, and of course, betas staring in amazement at the collection of weights, sweat, and fit bodies as far as the eye can see. So I approach a guy sitting on a flat bench, scrolling through his social media feed, and I ask if I can work in. Immediately, the blue pill alarms start ringing as if we were at Planet Fitness or whatever. The look of danger and desperation flushed through this guy's cheeks, and in a move that's born straight out of a sheer scarcity mindset, his response was, I've got like 5 or more sets to go, so... I, of course, not wanting to even be in the presence of so much soy boy energy, I simply said, cool, man, you know, it's all good. And I proceeded to jump in with a couple of guys who were benching nearby. Got some great sets in, got a good rotation going. It was great. It worked out. Now, I'm sure many of you have experienced this example at one point or another. And what this speaks to is the language and how it can play itself out in so many ways, in so many scenarios, and in so many instances. And that's why it's beneficial for us to point out these shared observations so that we can avoid getting that energy on us. And what I wanted to do was highlight maybe 3 statements that I'm sure a lot of people have heard, and most people just disregard. They just shrug it off. You're going through your day. You're trying to get something done. You're going from point A to point B. You're mission focused. You're moving through life at your own pace. But let me know if any of these scenarios sound familiar or these statements. First of all, it's important to note that betas want things to be easy, which is interesting in and of itself. Remember that statement. Losers or cowards or the weak-minded have a need for excuses, whereas champions have a need for challenges. Keep that in mind. Here's the first quote. Why can't it all just be the same? Second quote. My blank, insert here, my dad, my uncle, my big brother, has this blank, has this business, has this boat, has this gym that he built. Even though the beta that's making this statement hasn't built anything for himself. He likes to brag on the things that actual men have done in real life. And the third statement is this. Betas want to bring people and processes down to their level. Think about that for a second. Any of the naysayers, any of the people who say, oh, well, we shouldn't focus on the difference between alpha and beta. We shouldn't, be involved in pointing out these traits and these behaviors. What's interesting about people who make statements like that is that in a world or society that is formed like a matrix, there's certain bits of code that we in this space speak about when we point out certain attitudes, behaviors, and languages that are used to compromise, to subjugate, to steer men away from their mission and their goal and their purpose. What happens is when people who are not here to break code, people who are not alpha, people who are not working towards masculine mastery, start to speak and they start to defend the matrix, what they're doing is reweaving the codes of the matrix. It's just like when you're listening to podcasts like this, it's poking tiny holes in the matrix. And if you don't have women on your team that are supporting you in your mission, supporting you in your purpose, supporting you in your activity, the women and the betas are literally reweaving or reconnecting that code that for just a moment that it took for you to listen to this message was breaking through from the matrix. As soon as you turn off of this podcast, or as soon as you walk outside, as soon as you interact with betas, as soon as you interact with women who are not on your team, they are closing these holes that are poked in the matrix around you in these spaces. Keep that in mind, because at the end of the day, I like this one quote that Stephon Clinkescales likes to use. You have to kill the beta within before the beta within kills you. And as always, this is your man Cousin T, aka Alpha Wingman, saying stay sharp and mission focused. Later.